What's up, this is Ross with Tactics Boardshop, here to help give you a guide on how to choose longboard wheels. There's a huge variety of different sizes and shapes of longboard wheels that all have different characteristics that make them better or worse for different types of riding. So let's hop into it and see what we got. The first thing you're going to want to look at when you're looking at wheels is what size. And size you generally dictate by the diameter, that's the height of the wheel from the road to the top of the wheel. So a tall wheel is going to be great for pushing, cruising around town because it's going to be fast and it's going to roll over anything, and it's also really good for downhill because again you're going to get that faster overall top speed. A smaller wheel is going to be great because it's going to fit on more setups. So if you just have like a park deck or something, you're going to want to be more in this, say, 55 mil to 65 mil range where it's going to be able to fit on anything. You're not going to have to put too much riser to make it fit. Where if you have big cutouts or wheel wells on your downhill board or your freeride board, you can fit something a little bigger from like 70 to 75, even larger if you'd like. So after you figure out what size you want, the next logical thing is to figure out what shape. So there's a few main things. The first is lip profile. As you can see, these wheels have a very sharp lip, and that sharp lip is going to give you more grip because it's going to grab the road and it's not going to want to break traction and slide out for you. And good grippy wheel with a sharp lip profile is great for downhill because it's going to keep you on the road. Also good for carving and cruising because you're probably not going to want to be sliding, so that's going to make sure that you aren't going to be sliding and you have all the grip you need. Whereas if you want a slide wheel, a free ride wheel, or if you just want to slash around and have something that is going to break traction if you need it to, you're going to want a rounded lip wheel. So as you can see, instead of having that sharp lip on the edge, this is angled down. They have that radiused edge all the way down to the core, so as they wear down, they're going to stay nice and round for you. Next up on the shape is the contact patch. Now you can see the contact patch is the width of the wheel from lip to lip. So these, as you can tell, have a humongous wide contact patch where these are very narrow. And what the big wide contact patch is going to give you is tons of grip, where the narrow is going to give you less grip. And less grip is great if you want to be doing more freeride sliding, which is why you'll see most round-lipped wheels paired with a narrow contact like this because it's going to break free easier, it's going to slide longer, it's not going to slow you down as much so that you can keep sliding and having fun without losing all your speed and having to go on a bigger hill. Whereas these wide race wheels right here, they're going to slow you down quickly into corners so that you'll be able to nail your lines and have that exit speed. Great race downhill style wheel. If you want to go fast and rail corners and maximize that exit speed, you want a large, wide contact patch. Another thing to look at with your contact patches is that you'll notice some of the wheels have a very shiny outer skin there, and some of them have more of a softer, rougher edge right there. And what that is when wheels come out of their molds, they all have this shiny exterior called the skins. A lot of people call it mold release, but that is actually an incorrect term. Mold release is a lubricant which is very slippery that they wash off. So this shiny stuff right here is the skins. As you can see, it makes them very grippy. It's hard to make them to slide. See how it like bounces along the table there? So generally for your downhill wheels, you're gonna want that shiny skin on them because it's gonna make them very grippy. Where with freeride wheels, people don't want them to be grippy right away, so they'll stone ground that stuff off on the edge, and then it's going to slide very smooth and easy right out of the package, as you can see, even on the table. So most wheels you'll see for freeride are going to have that on them these days because it's just going to be a more pleasant experience when you first put them on your board. They're going to slide out. It's going to be lots of fun right from your very first run. The next basic spec you'll see on all wheels is going to be your durometer. Now for longboard wheels, you're going to want generally soft wheels because they're going to roll over anything more easily, they're going to be quiet, just general transportation, they're going to be faster on rough pavement. So general skateboard park wheels and street wheels are going to be harder, usually between about 97 and 101A, where longboard soft wheels are going to be much softer between 75A and about you know, 86A is usually at the high end. There are some wheels that are in between, maybe a 90, 92A, 88A. So a lower number is going to be softer and a higher number is going to be harder. So choosing between a softer and a harder wheel, there's a lot of give and take there, because if you're just trying to push around town, a softer wheel is going to be a little more gummy. It's like going to feel soft on the road. It's not going to pick up all the vibrations of the rough pavement. It's going to roll over things more easily, whereas a harder wheel is going to roll faster, but you're going to feel all those vibrations. So you're going to have to pick and choose between what's more important to you. The durometer of a wheel also greatly affects the way that it slides. So a softer wheel is going to have more grip, so it's more difficult to break traction and push it into the slide. But once you get it sideways, it's going to have more control in the slide because it has that grip, and it's also going to just have a tendency to smear on the road, and that's going to make it wear a little bit faster and be a little less durable, a little less long lasting. Whereas a harder wheel is going to be easier to break into the slide because it has less grip, but once it gets going, it has more of a tendency to glide or float across the surface of the pavement and not get that smeary slide. So because it glides, it's going to last a lot longer, but it's also going to have just less control. So if we want to do lots of free riding and sliding, then you want to go a little bit faster and you want to have more control and a little more grip through the corners. A softer 78 to 80A is a good choice. But if you want to get a little more technical, do more 360s and spins and that sort of thing, then a little more of an 82 to 83, 86A is going to be a little better choice for you, because they're also going to last longer if you're doing tons of spins. If you want to do downhill, generally 78 to 80A is the standard, because they're softer, they're going to be able to deform more and grab the road a little bit better. And you're going to have more grip and therefore more exit speed, and you're not going to be flying off the road. Durometer is a great general guide to go by when choosing from longboard wheels, but the actual urethane formula that the wheel is poured in makes a huge difference on the way they perform as well. So not all 78A urethanes are going to perform the same. For example, the Sector 9 race formula urethane is it's a fast, grippy urethane, so great for downhill and faster riding, whereas the Skittles Shred-thane urethane, also from Sector 9, also 78A, is more of a smeary, peely sort of urethane, so it's going to leave tons of lines. It's not going to last as long as these race formulas, and it's going to have less grip, so a great option for free ride, whereas this is a better option for like a fast free ride, more mellow downhill, or if you get into the lip version, a fast downhill, very grippy wheel. The final thing to look at when you're talking about wheels is the cores. So there's three different types of core placement. They are center set, there's side set, and there's offset. So center set wheels are exactly what you think. The core is placed directly into the center of the wheel. So there's exactly the same amount of urethane on the inner side of the core and the outer side of the core. And what that's going to give you is the most amount of grip of all three core placement types, because you're going to have the largest inner lip here. And that's where you're going to get the majority of your grip. And center set is great for downhill because of that. It's going to have a ton of grip to keep you on your board around those corners. But center set wheels are also great for free ride, because once you start wearing them on one side, you can flip them over and then you start wearing them the other way. So you get more even wear. You're going to get a longer life out of your wheels that way. Also great for free ride, because generally you're going to have a narrower contact patch with your free ride wheels. So when they're center set, you're going to get a little more grip out of that to compensate, which is great. Next thing to talk about is side set wheels. Now side set wheels are going to have the core all the way butted up against that inner lip. These ones aren't completely side set, but they're very close. And what that's going to give you is a very small to no inner lip, which is going to give you the least amount of grip, and it's going to break from gripping into sliding very easily. So you can just lean into your wheels, they're just kind of push out. And that makes them really great for free ride wheels, especially for beginners. If you're having a hard time breaking traction on your wheels for the first time, then side set wheel is a great option for you, because it's just going to break out easier. You're going to get in that slide easier, and then you're going to be able to figure out how to control it from there. And finally is your offset wheel placement, which is going to be somewhere between center set and offset, and a lot of wheels have varying degrees of offset. So with these rad wheels here, this is an offset wheel. You're going to get a lot of grip out of offset wheels typically, but it's going to be a little easier to break in and out of your slides. So you're going to have a little more of a friendly hookup. Whereas your center set wheels, it wants to stay gripped up so hard that it's difficult to break in and difficult to hook back up smoothly sometimes. So that offset wheel placement is just going to make it a little more friendly, a little more cleaner on your drifts typically. That about wraps it up for everything you need to know on how to choose longboard wheels. If you still have any more questions, hit us up on tactics.com or drop a comment in the comment box below and I will personally answer your questions.